Today on CountryCast, Luke Bryan had some very interesting things to say about Garth Brooks. Taylor Swift makes history, and we're going to dive into this strange Ellen DeGeneres controversy. Stick with us. Welcome to CountryCast. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't done this already, as many of you, in fact, most of you who watch the show every day are not subscribed, something like 70%. If you can just take a quick moment to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss breaking news and updates. Now, before we get to this very, very interesting interview from Luke Bryan, where he talks about Garth Brooks and makes some very interesting eyebrow-raising comments, we got to talk about Taylor Swift. Her album Folklore came out about a week ago now, and it was released on one day's notice. In fact, she didn't even give advance notice to her record label. They got it the same day, and they were able to release it somehow. So, she came out with this new album, and it set records. It's number one on the Billboard chart. It's got 16 entries on the chart. And the streaming numbers were just absolutely mammoth. She had 34 million US streams on the album so far in just 1 week. And you can talk about the individual sales numbers that she did as well. It says Folklore starts with 846,000 equivalent album units earned in the US in the week ending July 30th. According to Nielsen Music, that marks the largest week registered for any album since her last album, Lover, debuted at number one on the September 7th, 2019 dated charts with 867,000 units. That is massive for Taylor Swift. And again, that surprise release for her, in her case, actually worked very well. We're going to talk a little bit about the controversy here. No secret that country music fans have felt sort of a little betrayed by Taylor Swift after she started off in the country music scene and then did a pivot and completely moved away from country music. Well, it raised eyebrows when she released this new album, Folklore, and there were some songs that were construed with country. People wondered what it was going to be classified as on the charts, and we now know she has submitted one single to country radio. So even Taylor Swift is acknowledging that she's recording country music again, which is very fascinating because, as we see in the comments, and I'm always curious to hear your feedback, Taylor Swift does seem to rub some people the wrong way. So Taylor Swift has submitted her single Betty, which is supposed to hit country radio on August 17th. And after, again, turning away from the country music world, she's asking those fans to support her and those radio hosts as well. And this is the interesting thing. You know, for years, Taylor Swift was a staple of country music. She would do interviews. She would contact these radio stations, and then she effectively ghosted them. And now she's coming back and trying to get them to push her song on the charts. It remains to be seen if that is something that they're going to feel comfortable doing, or if this is something that the fans will be interested in. And it will be very apparent based upon where the song charts on country radio to tell whether or not the country music space is rejecting her or not. And it is interesting. It's becoming harder and harder for someone like Taylor Swift to be on the top of the pop charts that is increasingly dominated by hip hop. It's increasingly dominated by newer pop artists, and especially those within the hip hop space. It's just become that big. So it looks like she's trying to step her foot back in ever so subtly into the country music realm again. Now, she's certainly got the talent to do it. I did like her album, but it remains to be seen, of course, whether or not country music fans are going to tolerate this. So again, that brings the question to you. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Are you ready to listen to Taylor Swift hitting that country radio again? And I could go on and on about this, but we're going to go back to Garth Brooks. We've been talking about this last Wednesday. He held an emotional press conference. He was literally almost tearing up as he talked about how he felt that he should not be nominated for the CMA Entertainer of the Year nominations. He's won this so many times, 7 different times, and last year he won the award. This led people like Eric Church to publicly call him out, feeling that newer artists deserve to win. There's only one problem with that. This is an award where you're voted in by your peers. It's not like he's behind the scenes telling them or pressuring them to vote for him. It's just who his peers are voting for. 7,000 different people. It's not like he's calling these folks to vote for him. They're choosing to vote for him. So you have people like Eric Church who are coming out saying, that's bullcrap. He shouldn't be nominated. He shouldn't get that award. But there's only one problem. he's winning fair and square. And who wants to win an award that says, well, I won this one, but Garth Brooks, he would have won had he not removed himself from contention. It doesn't seem genuine, which is actually interesting because the CMA responded and said, dude, we're not removing you from contention. That's not how this works. If you win, we're going to give you the award. And quite frankly, I think that's the way it should be. We shouldn't be sort of handing out country music participation trophies. So here is what Luke Bryan had to say in a recent interview about this very subject. It was very interesting hearing what he had to say on this. He was speaking to popculture.com. He said, there are a lot of ways to look at it, but he did it his way. And he said that Brooks is a huge figure and he has the ability to make that kind of an announcement. He is continually interested in who did win and if it's somebody that's won before or somebody that's never won before, but they were very, very deserving to win the honor. My thought is, if we go for a long period of time and Carrie Underwood never wins a CMA Entertainer of the Year, it's quite disturbing to me because she's done everything you can do to win, in my opinion. And that also goes for Eric Church. Luke Bryan was then asked if he felt that he was deserving of the honor, and he says, hell, I really felt like the best entertainer that year, the year he was previously nominated, and there have been years where I felt like the best entertainer and I didn't win, but that's just the way it goes. I think at some point, all artists, I think maybe in Garth's mind, he probably could be taking people's slots. And how long do you want to do that? I don't really know how, if you're winning by a vote, you're taking other people's slots. If other people are voting for you, how is that taking other people's slots? I think that I just really feel like Garth Brooks is that big of an artist. Did Michael Jordan, when he was winning all of those championships, step back and say, okay, guys, I'm tired of winning, and then back off? I mean, at some point, you've got, like, did Tom Brady do that he said, I'm not going to win. You know, it's just time for me to let somebody else win the Super Bowl. I'm getting sort of tired of it. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I understand why Garth did it. It seems like something that bothered him. It seems like he doesn't want to be a part of this. He doesn't want to get the hate, but people like Eric Church who are bashing him and calling him out, to me, it does seem a little bit ridiculous because Garth Brooks isn't out here aggressively pursuing it. He's not out here taking it all. He's being nominated by his peers. It doesn't mean that other people aren't a close second or third or fourth, but they're going to have to do what Garth has done in the past or try to do it if they think that they can win. There's something about Garth Brooks that is appealing to millions and millions, if not a billion plus people around the world. He is a gargantuan style artist, and it's a testament to his success. It's not that he's playing a game and cheating or something. He's winning them fair and square. And so if somebody wins this, they need to put an asterisk next to their name because a guy pulled out because he was almost certain to win again. So, okay, I don't know. But I understand what Garth was saying. He wants to have like a lifetime achievement award and just not be eligible anymore. And last but certainly not least, I want to talk about this Ellen DeGeneres story. I know this isn't specifically country music, but she's had a number of country music stars on the air over the last decade or more that she has been on her show. And it's an interesting situation that's happening in the talk show realm. So the Ellen Show is basically on a hiatus right now. There's an investigation ongoing, and there are a number of allegations that are being made. But one of the main ones is that Ellen is apparently not a very nice person to be around, and she can be rude to her staff. And this is apparently one of the core reasons why people are asking for her show to be canceled. Now, it's interesting because Ellen has presented herself as this really nice person for a number of years, the nicest person on the planet, and apparently she wasn't so nice. The main claim is here from this BuzzFeed article that says if Ellen wants to have her own show and have her name on the show and title, she needs to be more involved with what's going on. One former employee said, "That be kind bullshit only happens when the camera is on. It's all for show. I know they give money to people and help them out, but this is for show." Most of the former employees blamed the executive producers and other senior managers for the day-to-day toxicity, but one former employee said that ultimately it's Ellen's name on the show. So basically there are some bad-looking allegations, and maybe there's some disciplinary action or even firings that might need to happen with some people under Ellen. But Ellen released a statement saying she wasn't as involved in the show as she should have been. But a lot of people are pointing to this thing that Ellen is very rude, and that is one of the reasons why the show should be canceled. And I found it odd. It's very cringy to me because, first of all, I'm not a big fan of the Ellen show, but the fact that somebody could lose their television show, which is a ratings titan, solely because she's not this glaring nice person, is very bizarre. Bill Maher has had a show on television for decades, and he's a very big asshole, and people love him for it. I mean, you could go on and on about people who are in the television industry who are jerks. One person told BuzzFeed, I think it's a lot of smoke and mirrors when it comes to the show's brands. They pull on people's heartstrings. They know what's going to get likes and what people are going to go for, which is a positive message. But that's not always reality. Ellen, for her part, issued an apology saying, I could not have had the success I've had without all of your contributions. My name is on the show and everything we do, and I take responsibility for that. Alongside Warner Brothers, we immediately began an internal investigation and we're taking steps to correct the issues. As we've grown exponentially, I've not been able to stay on top of things and relied on others to do their job as they knew I'd want them done. Clearly, some didn't. This is now going to change, and I'm committed to ensuring this does not happen again. I'm also learning that people who work with me and for me are speaking on my behalf and misrepresenting who I am, and that has to stop. So Ellen is apparently claiming she's not the person that people are making her out to be. But the question is, if Ellen is just an unpleasant person to work for, is that enough for her to be fired? If she's just sort of a douchebag or kind of an asshole to people behind the scenes, is that really tantamount to her losing her entire show? I don't know. There are plenty of douchebags in the entertainment industry, and this is very bizarre to me. Maybe some people don't want to watch the show after learning this, but I don't really think that this is going to have much of an impact on her viewership, which is always very, very significant. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, of course, and be sure to subscribe to CountryCast with notifications on so you don't miss out on breaking news and updates. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you all very soon.